mainly went down there to talk with lawmakers on both sides of the aisle about speed limiters, about the overtime exemption, and about the bathroom bill were the big things.
Landline now. Welcome back. Lewie Pugh joins me now. He is the Executive Vice President for OOIDA. Lewie, a pleasure to have you here as always.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be on.
You just got back recently from a trip to D.C. What was the reason for the trip? Tell me what you got up to there.
I had to go out and help drain the swamp. And no, we were out there, of course. I go out there often. As most people probably know, we do have an office in D.C. We're right across the street from DOT. As I lovingly like to say, we look down upon DOT from our office. But anyway, the guys have been really, really busy. And as I also always say, they go up on the hill, they do all the hard work, they get all the relationships built, and they're up there all the time. And then I get to come in and bat swing or clean up hitter or whatever and get the glory. So, but really, all the glory and the hard work goes to our crew down in D.C. and our crew here as well. We have a couple government affairs people here as well. But yeah, mainly went down there to talk with lawmakers on both sides of the aisle about speed limiters, about the overtime exemption, and about the bathroom bill were the big things. Also met with FMCSA and talked to a few reporters while in town. But yeah, that was the main gist of our meetings while we were down there.
Now, when it comes to the lawmakers you met with, are these lawmakers you've met with before, new ones, mixture of both?
A mixture of both. Yeah, a few of some of our frequent flyers I met with, but also I met with quite a few new ones this time. Some new folks on T&I and a couple other committees down there that we work with. But it was good to meet them. Some folks that are new, some freshmen that are there. A couple, one from Washington and one from Oregon as well. The one who replaced DeFazio Hoyle. Just to kind of, she's on T&I. She knows who we are, but to really talk about our issues, stuff like that. And that's what we're really doing with that, educating all of them. The other thing that we did meet with and talk about a little bit too was with Congresswoman Perez. She is comes from a small business, had a body shop type business like that. And she's very interested in this whole right to repair, which we know a lot of our members are, that it really affects truckers, the whole right to repair and the ability to work on their trucks and stuff. So I had a good conversation with her on that.
Is it nice when you talk to these lawmakers and they have these, pockets of their history that obviously she's passionate about that? How does that, help our case?
It helps our case because she may not know trucking, and she didn't really know trucking, but she understands the point of being able to work on your stuff. I mean, the one point that she made was, kids today, and I get it. She was kind of a gearhead, and I'm kind of a gearhead, and we were talking about kids today, how like when we were growing up, you worked on your car, you bought a cheap car, you fixed it, you worked on it, or a pickup truck or whatever, and that's what I did and my friends did. And a lot of kids don't do that today. And part of the reason they don't do that is because we're making things so complicated that they can't.
Yeah.
You just can't switch an engine or a transmission or do these kind of things and stuff. Even your radios. I mean, like, that's the first thing you did when I got my driver's license was you jerked your junky AM out of your pickup truck and you put in the AM, FM cassette player or whatever. CD players were just kind of starting to hit, but
don't age yourself now.
Yeah, but that was what we did, and get some wood, make some boxes, put some speakers behind the seat, and that's what we did, and like a lot of that stuff, you just can't do it anymore. So, it kind of plays out into what we see why kids aren't becoming mechanics and body, because it's just so hard, and they just don't have the stuff to do it. Yeah. And then the stuff today is so complicated and it's so expensive, or you need such expensive things to do it. You don't need a freaking $50 tool set or like stuff like we had. So yeah, so she understands that. The other cool thing about her that just on a side note, it has nothing to do with trucking, but was kind of fun. She had this huge McCullough chainsaw in her office. It had like a 9 or 10 foot bar on it, and it was a McCullough 99, this like 2-man chainsaw. And when we were done talking, I asked her if I could take a picture of it because it was so cool.
Oh, neat.
And she was telling me that her grandfather ran that chainsaw. She was from Washington, and he was in the logging industry, and she showed me a picture of her grandpa with that saw in this tree that's bigger than my house.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so that was cool. So.
Neat. The other lawmakers you meet with, especially the newer ones, are they aware of these issues that truck drivers are facing?
Yeah, most of them have. I mean, it's good that like the Drive Act and stuff, they've heard of it or got some idea of it. The restroom bill on T&I, especially with stuff committee members, they've heard of these things or have an idea. A lot of them want clarification. A couple folks we talked to have not. And because it was funny, we met with a staffer the one morning, and we brought up, we were there to talk about the bathroom bill and the Drive Act. And we no more sat down before I even go through the spiel of OOIDA, and he goes, I am so interested to hear why we need a rule or a law about for people to use the restroom. I just find that fascinating. I can't even believe that. And so we explained, why and what's going on in industry, and this is sort of resulted out of COVID and so on. So yeah, but it was, it was a good info. But he was very interested, and that's the purpose. People don't understand that, and that's part of the thing with lawmakers, and that's why it's so important that you reach out to your lawmaker, because most lawmakers aren't in trucking, and they know that goods get from this place to that place, and truckers do it, but they don't really understand all the problems and situations that go along with that.
Mm-hmm. You said you met with some media folks, reporters. What were some of the topics that they were covering?
Big topic was AV trucks, of course, the autonomous vehicles. Another big topic was discussing the administrator has left FMCSA, as we all know, like what OOIDA would like to see, what our perfect administrator looks like. So that was some topic of discussion. In fact, I just saw their story print on that this morning. So yeah, those were the big things. AV, what I was doing in town and talking about. So sort of the same stuff you and I are talking about as well.
Okay. Do you try to meet with different lawmakers every time you go there, or sometimes is it the same?
Usually we try to meet with them, but it depends on what's going on too. It's, like, for example, I met with Senator Lummis this week, which I didn't meet with her last time, but I met with her the time before. Of course, she's the champion, one of the champions of our parking on the Senate side. And I was meeting actually with her to get her on the Drive Act, because her and Senator Daines are pretty close. And Senator Daines I met with him to talk about getting him on parking, and met with her to talk about her getting on the Drive Act. So it kind of worked. But yeah, so sometimes I met with our congressman here in Missouri, my congressman, and OOIDA's Congressman Mark Alford, and I talk to him occasionally, other places as well. So, but yeah, it just kind of depends on what we're there for and what's moving. But I kind of, since we knew I was there a few weeks, like 3 weeks ago, and I was coming back, we kind of had it set up this time to where we just hit this amount of congressmen the last time and this amount this time, and kind of on the same subjects.
Now, you go into D.C. and having the opportunity to meet with these lawmakers and even, reporters to get some of these topics in the mainstream media really drives home the importance of being an OOIDA member. Talk to me a little bit about that because, you're kind of the middleman here of you hear from members, here when you're at headquarters, and then you do travel to D.C. a lot to talk to lawmakers. But having those numbers, having, those stories that you hear from members, talk to me about how important that is.
It's the most important thing we got. I mean, besides our members, their member stories, I should say, because I say it all the time. Politics and most things we see in politics are probably driven by money. You can generally follow the money to find out. But grassroots is what stops that, and that's what outpowers that. So it's a good thing, and it's like I said earlier, it's good for you to have a relationship with your lawmaker, because lawmakers, most of them, other than a very small handful, understand or know about trucking. So they know that they find out either from constituents who do it or constituents who are against it. And so then I can guarantee the constituents against it are down there talking. So you need to be talking to your telephone. And the nice thing is, most of the time when you go in these offices, and what do people see in these offices are lobbyists, just like ours. I like to think ours are better. I know ours are better because they get it. Our guys get it. They've been here a long time. They're dedicated, and they, just like I think everybody in this building, feel like we're working for the greater good. So with that being said, that's nice. But it's really nice when you can go in there and I can say, I was a trucker. This is what I see. This is what I saw. This is how this would affect. And I can also tell you that I have 150,000 members. They're calling in, and this is what they're seeing. This is what they're dealing with, and this is why. And even if I haven't dealt with it, I can take their story, and I understand from doing the job. I can take what they're seeing and put it into layman's terms and explain it to that lawmaker. They understand, like a bathroom, like the problems with the Drive Act. It's like the Drive Act. Most people we talk to, once you explain it and why it's going to be a problem, you can see the light goes on. But you have to explain it in a way that they understand, and explain it the way from the driver's seat. And that's what makes the difference. And that's my opening spiel to every lawmaker who doesn't know who we are or not completely sure. The difference in OOIDA and everybody else that's housed down here representing truckers in the D.C. Metro is we were started by truckers. We are still ran by truckers to this day. From our president, Todd, to our entire board of directors are either actively driving or retired to me. That's the leadership of this association. We get our marching orders from our board and from our membership, and that's what we do, and that's what we're here talking about. That's why we don't flip-flop on issues or change on issues, because we're speaking to you directly from the men and the women who are sitting behind the steering wheel.
Now, when you go to D.C., your goal there obviously is to educate. What do you take away from it after meeting with the lawmakers that you meet with and having these discussions? What do you learn from it?
The biggest thing you learn is lawmakers are just real people too.
Yeah.
And as much as social media and the mainstream media and every other freaking thing garbage that we see out there wants you to believe that everybody's fighting everybody and everybody's crazy. There is that fraction of people down there. But there's still a lot of people in Washington, D.C., lawmakers who want to do the right thing. And they're just as frustrated with all the noise on both sides of the aisle as we are, as you are, and as everybody else, because it makes it very difficult for them to do their job. They want to change. They want to make trucking better. They want to make things better for their constituents and for our country, which is what they're sent there to do. But unfortunately, you have media darlings and media stars and social media stars, and then you get all this gobbledygook, and it gets all, mistranslated, and things that are good become political because this politician wanted it, but, this side of the aisle wanted this or whatever, and it messes everything up. So, but that's the one thing I'd say is that there are still a lot of people in D.C. who want to do the right thing and try to do the right thing. It's unfortunate that sometimes partisan or party line politics get in the way of making things better for truckers, for people, for our country.
Last question I have for you. The Mid-America Trucking Show is coming up next week. What do you expect? You'll obviously be there. What kind of issues do you expect to hear drivers talking about there?
I think speed limiters. I think probably driver pay, parking, all the things that we're working on. It's funny we don't hear as much about ELDs as we used to, but we'll probably still hear some of that. It's just that those are the kind of things I think we'll hear. I'm looking forward to Matt's. It'll be great to see everybody. I encourage everybody to come to our booth. I also encourage you on Friday and Saturday. Both we have presentations on the stage there from our Truck to Success program, and also if you join or pay for Truck to Success at the truck show, however you want to say it, there's a big discount for the truck show. So, but anyway, stop by our booth, say hi. I'll be there the entire time. Todd will be there. Say hi to Todd. So it'd be great to see everybody.
All right. Lewie, thank you so much.
Thank you as always, and thank you to all the truckers out there. Be safe.